Woo.
All right.
Hello.
Hey guys.
How's
Hey
it
there.
going?
Good.
Oh, there we go. Hi there.
Hi.
Is that
Hey.
Denise? Hi, Denise.
Hey there. Hey Tess, how did you get that with no video?
I always lock myself out. I know.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
I'm
I
not
just
very
took a
good,
nap.
man. You should see, I literally rolled out of bed and been at this desk all day.
Oh, okay. I just got up from a nap, so I'm like,
You guys are working
Hey.
hard, huh?
I know this is killing us. You're making us tired.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, well, it's a good thing in some ways because it helps me sleep better. But,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's a good thing. All right. So give
Yeah.
me a quick rundown. How's the training going in general?
I now have a cold. Does that tell you?
No, I'm sorry.
I feel like it's just kind of run me down. I have to be more careful and I realize like it's tasking my body. So I have to make sure I'm getting food and the sleep and everything that goes along with it.
Yep. Most important thing is sleep,
Yeah.
no matter what. And then when you're sick or when you get hurt, I have a very strict policy, which is don't try and do things.
Really?
So a lot of times when people get sick or they get injured, they end up, oh, let me fix this a little bit. All right, that's a little better. When they get sick or get injured, they end up like, oh, let me just do a little bit, right? And then they do a little bit for about like a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks because it just drags on and on their sickness or their injury. Whereas if you're just like, hey, I'm not going to do anything, I'm going to shut it down, maybe it's only 3 to 5 days like that. And then you're better and you're good to go. And it's way more productive for your training. Does that make sense?
Yep. Sounds good.
Cool. Awesome. Otherwise, most of the workouts, do they make sense or no?
Go ahead, Denise.
Yeah, they do. I think the challenges, and Carolyn covered this. I don't know if did you see Carolyn's email that she sent you?
Yeah, I was going to go
Yeah.
through everything in it after we talked. Yeah.
Yeah. We figured that might take the full hour.
Of course,
I think that, yeah, the challenge is, well, making sure that trying to stay within the zones,
yeah.
at least for me, because sometimes I think I run way too fast. I'm like a jackrabbit, and then I'm like huffing and puffing and can't breathe. And I when I did the speed test, I think it was, I was probably going way too fast because then I couldn't slow down enough to get back into my casual zone, so to speak.
Okay.
During that, my other issue at hand, and I posted about, was just the volume of swimming.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time getting in that 3,000 yards in an hour, and you said you could go, it sounded like it could go longer, which is great, but I don't really necessarily want to spend, and I noticed the swim for tomorrow is like 4,000 yards, so
Okay.
that's a little concerning.
Let me take a look at it real quick while we're talking.
Yeah.
Cool.
But other than that, I think it's going great. It was challenging for the first week to kind of ramp it up, but I think my body's getting more used to it now.
Of course. I mean, it'll take a while to just kind of get used to doing things and getting a routine and figuring out what works and doesn't work.
Yeah.
All right, let me see here real quick. Let me pull
I
it.
have to say the kicks are definitely getting you muscles that I didn't have before.
There we go. We like muscles. All right, let me see this one right here.
But
4. What is this? 4 and 2. That's 6. 6 and 4 is 10, 12, 16, 24 and 4 is 28. 34 and 12. Oh yeah, it's like 3,800 tomorrow. All right, so is there anything else you want me to cover besides her email, or maybe I'll go through everything in her email and what you just said, and that'll maybe spawn more questions? Does that work?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. So let's start with the swim, all right? And we'll go from there because that was the first thing you brought up too. Here, I'm gonna copy and paste into the chat all of her questions so you can see them. And I'm gonna answer them. All right. Swim, I'm gonna repeat the stuff here. Swimming seems like a lot. Can you explain? Yes, absolutely. So, when we talk about swimming, bike, there's a couple things here. One, when we talk about swimming, biking, and running, swimming and biking, but especially swimming, is a weight-supported sport, right? The water supports your weight. So it takes less of a physical toll on your body, like your joints, your muscles, really just like your skeletal system as well. And there's less risk of injury and less risk of the pounding of the pavement, right? In running, we say the pavement pounds back. So your heart and lungs don't know the difference between swimming, biking, and running. And we're doing a lot of heart and lungs training, endurance training, right? So we do more swimming, especially early on in our training, to mitigate the risk of injury and to build our aerobic system as much as we can. The second thing is like, while it seems like a lot of swimming, you guys are swimming about 3 days a week with a recovery day too, which is about a 20 to 30 minute swim. When we talk about swimming in general and like improvement in swimming, if you swim, this is very general, but if you swim 3 days a week, that usually keeps you where you're at, status quo. 4 days a week, you start to see improvements. 5 days a week, real big improvements. So we try and swim at least 3 to 4 days a week in general to try and get improvements, keep our feel for the water, create a new feel for the water. So one, we have reduce injury while I build heart and lungs. Two, we have, this is kind of like how much you should be swimming. Third, and this you alluded to this, or alluded to this, is seems like a lot of time in the water, right? Because the sets are pretty long. So I write the workouts. The time that I put in Training Peaks is pretty irrelevant. I usually just put an hour, hour 5, hour 10, because I base it on like an interval that I know. So like on a 130 base or a 140 base, which is like 1,000 every 15 minutes, more or less. That's at 120, but more or less you get, it's 130. So the time is irrelevant. It's more about the workout itself. So like you can ignore the time. If you tell me, hey, but it's going to take me too long to do this, I don't have that much time, I'll give you some things you can do. You can cut the cool down in half. You can cut the warm up in half. If you do that, that should get you closer. If not, you can cut the preset in half too. We really want to try and keep the main set the main set. Does that make sense, Denise? So far.
It does, yeah. My challenge, well, yeah, I'm like a 150 swimmer, so it's gonna take me 3,000 yards. I'm getting closer to an hour for 3,000 yards. I'm working on that, but my challenge is I have to reserve a pool lane, so I can only get it for an hour. So that's part of it. Sometimes I'll push it and I can stay later if nobody shows up, then I'm good.
Yeah.
But knowing that I can cut the warm up and the cool down, I can do that too. It just, I was just, part of it too is it like, is it really going to do me any good to be swimming 4,000 yards and spend 2 hours doing that when all I'm going to do at the Oregon race, from what I hear, is you just jump in the river and you're downstream and you're done in no time.
Yeah, so like kind of what I was saying earlier, your swim training isn't just helping your swim training, it's helping your biking and your run training too, because you're training your heart and lungs. I can tell you I'll use myself, or at like the elite level with Andy, right? We swim like an Ironman, right? Or a half Ironman. Takes about 21 to 23 minutes to do, right? When we're training for that, our average swim is an hour and 20 minutes. That's about 5,500 to 6,000, 5,000, 6,000 yards, sometimes up to 7. And then typically do a long swim that's about like 7,000 to 8,000 yards every week. And why? Goes back to what I was saying before. I'm not just training for the swim, I'm also training my heart and lungs for the bike and the run without the pounding and the physical toll. A lot of the people in this group are older athletes. And so this is going to mitigate some of the injury of risk injury that you could have from excessive running and pounding.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
All right. So that's a big reason to do it. So I would start off, cut the warm up in half. I would cut the warm up in half and maybe even the preset in half, and then see how far you get. And that's how I would do it. All right. Cool. And then when you're doing drills, definitely put on fins if you need them. It'll just help. Kind of with body alignment, positioning, moving along in the water, helping you flow, kind of get balance. And then I see another question here about having shorter fins or longer fins. Use the fins that you have. If you don't like your fins, find a pair you like. Don't worry about having shorter fins or longer fins. It's okay. Okay. And then I see something else here about swim. Tips for taking the swim workout to the pool. Building workouts on Garmin's takes time. Current, I print them out. All right. So here's what I'd say. You take your swim workout, you print it out, you put it on a piece of paper. I think Carol said she does it with a Ziploc bag. You don't even need to do that. You get a kickboard, right? And you put the paper on the kickboard. And then you just wet the paper just a little bit and it'll stick to it. When you're done, you just crumple it up and throw it away. You don't need the paper anymore. So you can just throw it away when you're done.
All right. Okay.
Does that make
stick
sense?
it by the side of the pool there. Yeah.
Yeah, or you put it on the side of the pool. I find when you have it on the kickboard, you can like grab it and look at it. Whereas when it's on the side of the pool, something falls in, whatever. Okay, so help with zones for swimming. How do you get faster? Swimming harder, perceived faster, increases my stroke per minute. I'm not sure it is actually faster. All right, so in the testing that I gave you guys, it helps you come up with your zones. If you need help with that, I can help you. At the end of the day, though, you need to know your base pace. So, like, Carol, you said like 150, right? I think is what you said. I mean, I'm sorry.
Denise. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I've been averaging about 150. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you know what your base pace is, though?
I don't.
Okay.
I'd have to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
need some help with figuring
It's
that one out.
210. There we go.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So base is work plus rest. So if I was to tell you swim 10 by 100 on 2 minutes, like for example, that'd be 100 yards 10 times, and every 2 minutes you push off the wall. So you would have to if you finish in 150, you get 10 seconds rest. If you finish in 140, you get 20 seconds rest. Got me?
Yep.
Okay. So that is the most important number, your base pace, because everything's based on that. So it's called base pace. Your paces otherwise that I give you in your zones are really good as like a reference point, but it's really based on your perceived effort. So, all right, I'm swimming at zone 3 now, right? Well, on my chart, which we did, that's really like your 150 is probably like a 147, right? Well, I'm just making that up. But it should feel like zone 3 or zone 4, right? Like, and that's how you do it. In terms of how to get faster, in swimming, it's a really complicated question, but I'm gonna try and answer it. You can get faster in swimming in a couple ways. One, you increase your stroke efficiency, right? So you become a better swimmer. Better body position in the water, better propulsion through kicking and holding in the water, better alignment, right? And that's like the technique of swimming, right? A lot of the technique of swimming gets better, like people talk about drills, which I give you guys something to do, and working on your position. A lot of that position stuff actually helps get fixed the more you swim, believe it or not, because you get more efficient in the water. It teaches you how to do it. So a second way to get faster in swimming is swim more. I know that sounds like a cop-out. It's not. You swim more, you get faster. And the other way is you get fitter. That happens from swimming faster and doing the right things. Part of it is an effort level, so increasing our effort. The other thing is like swimming is, especially triathlon swimming, is strength swimming. So how do I hold the water and keep my body there? And how do I not slow down over time? So how do I keep my stroke really efficient and strong over time? So you ask why we swim more or we're swimming more. It's so you can be stronger in the water. So a good example I'll give is like when I'm going into an Ironman, right? I swim about 10K about 8 weeks in a row. I don't do it because I'm going to be swimming 10K in my race. I do it so when I'm at mile 1.5, 2 and a whatever, 2.3, I'm as strong as I was at the beginning. And I'm not tired when I got out of the water. So we have increase our stroke efficiency or like technique, which I'm going to send you guys. I think I already sent it, but I'm going to send you a link to a video, a couple of videos you guys could watch. They could help you like with some background on stroke stuff, and then you can ask me questions. All right, and then we can keep on going over it. I'll send that to you guys when we get off here. 2 is swim more, which helps with stroke work, and 3 is get fitter in the water, which has to do with being stronger, increasing our work to rest ratios. So like if that makes sense, maybe right now you could swim by like 10 by 100 with 30 seconds rest. You get to 10 by 100 on 5 seconds rest, same pace. That makes you a better swimmer. Does this make sense so far? Or am I too much, too fast?
No, it's good. We've,
Okay.
yeah, we've heard this
Yeah.
before. It's great to hear this. I mean,
Absolutely.
or maybe we
As
don't
mu-
want to hear
Yeah,
it.
as much as we don't want to hear swim more.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got
exactly. I was like,
Yeah, but swim more sounds like a cop out, but it's not. It's really like let's
No,
just
it's true.
swim
It's true, yeah.
stronger is the best way to
Yeah.
put it. Okay.
Yeah.
All
and I
right.
do feel it like, you know, when your paddles and you take the paddle off, your arm feels the water. So I get what you're trying to do for
Yeah.
us.
So like, I can tell you like, when I start going good and like we're getting into it, what I do is like, I don't always increase my main set. I increase my warm up and cool down. So like at the beginning of the year, my warm up might be like a 300 to a 500. My cool down might be the same. As the year goes on, my warm up and cool down become like a 1,500 each or 1,000 each or 2K each, just to warm up and cool down to kind of work on all that other stuff. But I think if you think about those 3 things, that's going to help you. Cool.
I'd be in the pool all day.
Yeah, I know. But again, I'm just giving you an example. Everything's relative to like your world. You know what I'm saying? You got to relate it to yourself.
I get it.
Got it?
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions on swimming right now?
Did we cover Carolyn's questions? I think she had a question about pull and core shorts.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. 15 pool. Let me see if did I miss that one?
It might be lower down in the.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I don't have the email in front of me. I should.
Okay, yeah, swim terminology, clarification, pull, build, no buoy. If I'm wearing core shorts, what does this mean? All right, so pull, build, no buoy would be, and let me take that first. So pull, paddles probably, right? Build means get stronger as you go. So we're using paddles, we're getting stronger as go. No buoy means we're not using a pull buoy. We're just kind of dragging our legs with a super light kick or not much of a kick at all.
Sure.
You're wearing core shorts. You're cheating it a little bit, but that's okay. You're wearing core shorts. Just do the same thing.
But when you say build, are you going faster or are you pushing more in the water?
Oh, so
What you're saying?
that is a great question. I don't want to use the term you're going faster. You're increasing your effort.
So that means the push, like on your stroke, finish the stroke or push in the water.
The hold.
The hold.
Yeah. Your hold
this
is a
little
little
hand kind
stronger.
of push.
Yeah.
Got
So like when you swim, guys, think of it like you're on a ladder, right? When you're on a ladder, okay, you don't push down and get higher up on the ladder, right? You hold your position on the ladder and move your body past your hands, right? So you're not doing this and throwing your hands. You're holding the ladder and moving your body past your hands. It's really bad. I can't do it like this, but it's the same thing when you're in the water. I'm kind of blurry here. You're holding the ladder, okay? You're here, and then you're moving your body past your hand. You're not moving your hand past your body. So Tess, you were like finish strong. It doesn't really matter. Up here matters. This matters.
It's your reach.
Yeah.
Your reach.
And,
Yeah.
and your hold. Your hold.
Hold.
Right? This is what
Hold.
matters.
Right, yeah.
In swimming, the front of your stroke matters. So everything above your head matters the most.
That's why those paddles help out. Is that why? Because you're working on that hold.
Yeah, so paddles help for a couple different reasons depending on what you're doing. One, it helps with like just the feel of the water, and you have a bigger paddle, like so it's easier to hold the water and feel it. Two, depending if you're using them, it helps with strength and like shoulder strength to be able to hold. Make sense?
And can you do the same exercise if you didn't get in the pool and use those bands?
Yes, it can help create muscle memory and create some strength as well. We can use bands for that all the time. It's not a perfect supplement, but it does help. If you do this all day, yeah, it could help a lot. Yes. So I think that answered Carol's question. Pull with paddles, no buoy, increase your effort as you go. So when we talk about build, this is kind of an aside, but same thing in swimming, biking, and running. It's effort that's increasing, not pace. Because if you think about it this way, if I told you to go run, I don't know, a 20-miler right now, right? At, I don't know, Denise, what do you run? 9-minute miles, 10-minute miles?
Yeah. 9
All right.
minute, yeah.
All right, so if I told you to go run 20 miles at 10-minute miles, right? The first 10, I don't know, 0 to 15 might feel pretty easy, right? I'm making that up. Let's just pretend because that's normally what
Sure,
happens.
yeah.
And the last 5 are going to feel harder. So what happens is if pace stays the same, stays constant, effort has to increase to maintain the same pace. That's what a build is, okay? Increase effort to maintain pace. My hands did not what they're supposed to, but you know what I mean.
It's okay. But
I was like,
yeah.
YMCA.
Exactly. All right. So I think that's everything in swim. Any other questions?
I think we're good.
I think
All right,
that's
cool.
good. Yep.
All right. So I'm going to go to run. I'm jumping around a little bit. Heart rate versus pace. It's not instant on Garmin. Should I go with pace for a zone or heart rate for a zone? All right. So when you're running, okay, any of your runs that say something like metabolic efficiency or runner's choice or anything that's zone 2 or lower, okay, zone 2 or lower should be run by feel, not even heart rate, not even pace, just feel. This feels like zone 2 to me. This feels like I'm cruisy. This feels like that. When you're doing tempo work, zone 3 and above, that's run by pace. It's very rare we will run by heart rate. So let me send this to you really quick.
Is that why like that doesn't go down into, you know, the workout doesn't go into the watch when it's on those, when that day,
Yes.
that's the workout?
Yes, it doesn't go into the watch because I don't program it that way. Because a lot of the run workouts aren't programmed. That's why I think. And that's just, don't make me get on my soapbox about it that way. That's a long one, but
Just want us to understand where we're at.
yes, and it's most of the running, like you can only handle for most of you guys, most athletes, 2, maybe 3 quality runs a week, and for probably 3 to 4 weeks at a time. So that's why we like everything zone 2 and below is by feel, and above that is tempo. Does that make sense? I mean, it's done by pace.
Pace.
The only time you won't run by pace, and this is important for you guys to know, is if like you're on a really hilly run, or it's really windy, right? It's why you see a lot of athletes now running by power. I'm not going to complicate our lives here if you guys don't do that. But at that point, you have to kind of like say, hey, listen, I'm supposed to be running zone 3 at 9:40 pace, Denise, but it's real windy, it's a headwind, or it's really hilly, I'm gonna run this by feel. It's probably like a 10:05, 10:10.
That'll be me, because I do live on hilly, and it's hilly and it's windy here.
Yeah, so that's when you kind of think of it that way. Here, let me see here if I can find this. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna send you guys a link real quick. There you go. You can read this at your leisure, but the part I'm referencing right now, it's called the golden triangle that Andy and I made up. So if you think about it, right, it's a triangle. You have either like power, cadence, pace up here. You have like duration, distance, work to rest ratio here, and you have heart rate, speed, or like run pace here, okay, on this side. We can change two variables at any time, or we can hold two constant and we change the other one. So like in the run, we might say, oh, we're doing 4x1 mile at 5-minute pace. And then we see kind of or 5-minute pace, and we see what happens to our heart rate. And so the heart rate is the variable that's changing, that we're seeing like the training effect from it. So we keep two constant and we change and we see what happens to the third. Or we say, okay, we did 2x1 at 5-minute pace. Next week, we're going to go 2x2 at 5-minute pace. What happens to our heart rate? And maybe we're not looking at our heart rate. We're looking at how long it takes for our heart rate to recover in the recovery zone. And so that's why a lot of times running specifically, we're saying, all right, distance is fixed, pace is fixed, or it's the one that we're changing. What happens to our heart rate? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So again, just to re-answer that question, we're running by feel. If you need a little guidance with heart rate, you can do that. Zone 2 and below, or cruiser runs, or metabolic efficiency runs. Zone 3 and above, we run by pace. My Garmin noted an increased threshold and asked if I wanted to accept or decline. If I accept it, I go back to the training piece and make the adjustments. So does this automatically happen if I accept? You can accept it if you'd like. I wouldn't mess with training peaks. I would change our zones as we do our testing. The Garmin threshold changes all the time. It's not super accurate. That's the best I can tell you. It's not the best indicator of your fitness or your threshold. Just run and train based on what you have in training peaks. And if you need help adjusting the training stuff, let me know and I'll help you. Okay.
Okay.
Currently my Garmin doesn't display zones when it has an uploaded workout. Runs are noted in RPE zones. Yeah, you don't need the Garmin to display zones. You should just know your zones. So like if it's like, oh, we're gonna go out and run again 4x1 mile at zone 4. Zone 4 is 5-minute pace. I know I got to be plus or minus 10 seconds of 5-minute pace. Okay, here's my soapbox, and this has to do with uploaded workouts. I am not a big fan of all the automation that happens with Garmin and training peaks and uploaded workouts and zone stuff. I think it's a nice, cute little tool and cue, but I think at the end of the day, it really turns you into someone that's just doing versus someone that is understanding and executing. So there's a big difference between like my Garmin beeped and told me to kind of like increase my effort versus I know my zone 3 pace is about 5:05. I need to be there and do that and like make it happen. So like I wouldn't rely on my devices that much because what we're trying to do is connect feel to effort and like to pace or to power. So Denise, when you go out on your bike or we're talking about running, right? And let's say we're going along at 10-minute miles, right? And I was like, I want your next mile to be 9:52. Could you take, if we were running on the track, 2 seconds off per mile and make it even? 2 seconds from the first lap, 2 from the third, so on and so forth to the 8th. without looking at your watch?
Possibly, I might be running too fast. I might hop, you say 2 seconds faster on the next lap, but I might do 4 or 5 based on
Yeah.
how I'm feeling or my amount of effort.
Yeah, and that's pretty normal. And this is kind of what you're saying earlier. I go out too fast and I'm breathing real heavy, and then I gotta like adjust, right?
Yeah.
What you want to do ultimately is create that connection between effort and pace or speed or power. And you want to be able to feel it. So like, to use the bike example, if you and I were out on the bike and I covered up my power meter, I could tell you within a watt, maybe 2 of what I'm riding at any time. On the run, I can decrease my quarters by a second because I've spent so much time knowing it and not listening for my watch to beep and that feel to be able to do it. The watch is a tool. It's not the device that like should be your be all end all. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I still
but you-
glance at my watch to see,
Yeah.
okay, I'm running a 9-minute mile, or
Yeah.
it's 9:30. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
and that-
kind of want that check though. I mean,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's the other thing because
Oh.
it's so easy to just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go, and then they're like, hey, you're under your normal. Like, oh yeah, I gotta go.
Test 100%. That's why we have it. And that's why I'm saying we use the tool to like get that understanding, that feeling. And it's like a quick glance. But I'm not, again, like you should be able to get to the point where you should be able to do it. And by your watch being uploaded this data and just beeping at you, you're never going to get it. You should be able to understand it. It's why I don't love uploaded workouts. Like when you get on the bike and it just beeps and tells you what to do. Because I want to look at my workout ahead of time. I want to know what I'm doing, why, and like internalize it and then go and do it. Because like a lot of these bike workouts are pretty complicated, but like if you're like, oh, I have 4 by 10-minute intervals, but I know when I go down to Orange Street, I only have an 8-minute interval, right? You know that and you adjust for it when you're doing your workout. And you're like, oh, it was 10 minutes on, 5 minutes off. Oh, that's only an 8-minute road. So I'll do 8 minutes on, 4 minutes off, because that's the same work to rest ratio. Did you guys follow that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Awesome. Anything else on the run? Because I'm going to bang these out here.
Yeah, no, other than I can't stand the beeping, because I did upload one of my workout runs into the watch and it was constantly beeping at me, and I wanted to take my watch off and just throw it away because it drives me nuts. So
Yep.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next. I'm going to go here and then I'm just bouncing around a little bit. Okay.
Sure.
Bike and Zwift. What do the harder to reach watts in Zwift mean? For example, on a bike workout in March, you know the watts for the segment, but also noted a higher watt zone on the screen, zone 3, 168 to 230 or something like that. Honestly, I don't have a clue. I don't even, if you guys could explain this to me a little more, I'll help. Typically I know that when we write workouts, they're set up with watt ranges. So like you mentioned, whoever mentioned here, 168 to 230, and you can work anywhere within that range. So like a lot of our athletes, I don't know if you guys are like this. Oh, I see a watt range. It's like 180 to 200. They always go to the 200 because they're like, I got to be at the top. I got to be at the top of it. You don't always
Nope,
have
that's
to.
not me.
All right, cool. That's a good thing. Like you have to like go at where you're comfortable and what's sustainable. And
Yeah,
then some days you're gonna feel better than others. That's why
Yeah.
there's a range.
it depends on me. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fine, not a problem. I don't know the answer to this. If you guys or if this is Carolyn's question, if we follow up with like maybe an example of it, just show me screen grab or whatever, and I can answer that. Not a problem.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, not sure what she's talking about because I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Or I'm not paying attention well enough on Zwift.
Yeah. Okay. All right. These are so these are questions for Carolyn exact specifically, but they might help you guys. Okay. I'm going to be on vacation. Should I move my test days so we before my trip and do the current workouts? if you feel like so like if let's say you're going away, you have stuff going on, right? General rule of thumb, when you're on vacation, be on vacation and enjoy your vacation. We only get so many vacations in a year or in our life. Enjoy it as much as you can. Spend time with the people you're with. If you have time when you're on vacation, always run. Run as much as you can. Running's good. The story I always tell with running is I had one year I was getting ready for Kona, and I couldn't run for I was away on vacation for almost 3 weeks leading up into the race. I ran every day. I ran a lot. I ran often. I probably ran too much. Had one of my best races ever. I think I ran 2:51 that year in Kona, and had a pretty good bike and swim too. Similar to the swimming, your heart and lungs don't know the difference between swimming, biking, and running. Running is the heart, so you can train swimming and biking just by running. Some of the muscle groups are a little different. Some of the synapses are a little different. I'm glossing over a lot here, but there's a lot of benefit. So don't like freak out if you're on vacation, whatever. In terms of moving workouts around, if you have a test week, if you think you need to do the testing, you're not sure about your zones, you can move it. If not, don't move it and just wait till the next test come around. If you're like, hey, I really want it, I think my zone should be updated, right? Just send me a note and I'll just update them for you. I can look at your training without tests and tell you what your zone should be. The other thing to think about, if you're going on vacation for 15 to 20 days, your zones are going to be different probably from the beginning to the end because you're not training. So maybe we wait till the next time to test them. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, does it make sense though to, I'm going to be out for a week next week, is just pick up right where so I'll be back next Thursday. I just start Friday's workout just the same as usual.
So almost all the training is interchangeable where you can move it around to any day you need or want. The only caveat is like if you have a really long run, I wouldn't go and do a hard workout the next day. I would try and take off. Typically, if you're off for less than, call it 5 to 7 days, you can more or less pick up where you left off.
Okay.
If you're like, that might be a little too much, what you can do is say, all right, listen, I'm going to do the time. Like, let's say it's a 2-hour bike ride. I'm going to do the 2-hour bike ride, but I'm not going to do the intensity today. I'm just going to do the time and just move.
Okay.
And then by the next day or the day after, you're back into your routine.
Okay.
Cool.
So that's what you're saying is use the balance time or intensity.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so I feel like my bike fitness has decreased with training plan. I used to ride Zwift 3 times a week and could do longer rides with more elevation. With the additional training of running and swimming and lesser miles elevation for the bike rides, would this decrease my bike fitness for now until the miles ramp up closer to the race date? Okay, couple things going on here. You guys ready?
Yep.
Actually, do you guys have an answer for her on this, or do you want me to answer it?
I don't. We talked about that this morning because Carolyn has, before this, she was a bicyclist, a cyclist.
Yes.
So she was doing like 2-3 hour workouts on the bike.
Yep.
And not doing the running and swimming, or maybe a little bit of that. So I think she's concerned that she's going to lose that bike fitness, of course, with, doing shorter workouts.
Yeah. All right. So couple things. This plan and what I planned for this race was not built based on what you guys did previously. It was built based on when the race is and kind of starting from a pretty like neutral place for everyone. Mm-hmm. So if you were riding your bike a ton before, you probably are riding less now. Does it mean you're losing bike fitness? Maybe a little bit actually, or maybe you're just doing different things, right? The other thing though, which is really important is most athletes, right? When you're doing single sport are doing great. Like they're really fit, they're awesome. And then they bring in the 2 other sports. It's not that their fitness decreased. It's just that they're a little more tired. You guys mentioned this earlier. You're tired a little more.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So it's very hard to go run your best mile ever when you're also swimming and biking. The same thing is true for biking. It's hard to put out your best power numbers ever if you're swimming and bike running too. You have to think of like your entire energy expenditure. Um, if you're comfortable, and again, this is where it's different from one-on-one training, right? If you're comfortable, you're like, oh, listen, I bike a lot more. I'm strong on the bike. I want to bike more. If you can still handle the swimming and running, you can double the bike workouts. There's no problem with that. Like I want a little more bike time. That's easy enough to do. Again, we started from like kind of this neutral plane to get us everyone ready for the race. Make sense?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Cool. I think that
Oh,
answers-
just wanted to point out, like, we were mentioned to you about Black Diamond 2 weeks before Salem,
yeah,
and then you put it in our plans. So
Yeah.
she's being a devil's advocate, kind of saying, hey, are you mentioning it to other people to say, hey, do you want me to put that in the plan? Or do they have to come to you? Or are you being proactive and saying, hey guys, should I add this to your plan?
yeah. So
kind of-
I need you guys to be proactive and tell me because I don't know who's doing it and who isn't.
yeah.
Because I don't have everyone's not everyone indicated they were doing it. So just let me know and I can plan for it. That wasn't the original intention of this group, but I'm happy to do it.
Gotcha.
No problem. Happy to do it. So you just gotta let me know.
Cool.
Yeah. And was there anything else in there?
She had a couple questions in the general section.
Yeah,
at
I
the
was
top
about just
there.
that's where I was going
Oh,
right.
okay. Okay. I do
Okay.
have a question about the Black Diamond. It's 2 weeks before the actual Ironman Oregon.
Yeah.
Is it, and that normally is your taper time, is it good to do like a quick sprint, do the Black Diamond, or should you just follow the taper?
Totally good.
Okay.
No problem. If anything, it kind of cuts into some of your training, but we'll work around that. It's on like the 9th or the 8th, right?
Yeah. 8th of July, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like typically, and I think Denise, you still have in your plan, and you still have like a pretty long ride and run that week. So taper is like, you want a little lesson on tapering really quick?
Yeah.
You're going to tell us there's no such thing as a taper.
Kind of. No, so
Oh man.
yes and no. The more you train, the more you need to taper. So years ago, they studied periodization, which I know you guys have heard of. Like that's what triathlon training was kind of built on years ago: 3 weeks on, 1 week off, all that nonsense. Or 3 weeks on, 1 week easy, and tapering, 3 to 4 week tapers, 15-day tapers, 21-day tapers, and all the research is based on Olympic level or high performance endurance athletes that trained 40 hours a week or more. So there's some really good lessons from it, but it's not 100% applicable. So like if you take a typical taper, they say to half your volume or your intensity, whatever you choose, every week for 4 weeks. So if you're 40 hours and you're 20, then you're 10 and you're 5, right? That's a 4-week taper. When you're only training 10 hours a week, it has less of an effect. So for most athletes that train under 15 hours a week, it's usually like a week-long taper at max. I can tell you for like someone like Andy or myself, we're training 30 to 40 hours a week, and it's a 10-day taper. We're 10 days out of usually our last long run. So like in a half Ironman, we probably run about hour and 30 minutes, 10 days out, give or take. So for most of you guys, a week-long taper is more than enough for your training. And have the effect. Because you want to feel fresh and ready to go. The last thing you want to do is be tired going into a race or just mentally exhausted. What I always say is like we try and keep the tiger in the cage, and then you just rear it to get out on race day. So that's what we're looking for more than anything else. The longer you taper, the flatter you might get, especially when you don't train that much to begin with. So yeah. And then taper. You guys know there's 2 types of tapers, right? Do you know that?
No.
No.
Okay.
Other than just don't do anything.
Don't do
well,
anything.
do less.
That-
Do less.
Do less and do
Third
nothing.
option. That's
This is
not a
wait,
good
we got
one.
1, 2, and 3. Do a lot more, do less, or do nothing.
No. So the do nothing is a type. I don't recommend it. there's a intensity taper and a volume taper. So intensity taper, let's say you're training about, I don't know, 10 hours a week. The volume would stay the same. You probably train about 10 hours and you remove a lot of the intensity. So like, all zone 1, zone 2 work, right? Same volume, lower intensity. Volume taper is the opposite. Oh my God. Yeah, volume taper is opposite. Volume comes down, maybe you're 10 hours, then you get down to like 5 hours, but you leave the intensity in. So you touch the intensity all day. So you're doing zone 4 work and we doing zone 3 work. And most of the tapers we do with our athletes and you guys are volume tapers where we still touch the intensity because we think it's important. It kind of like sparks you, keeps you going, and it like gets you hungry. Ooh, I feel that speed. All right,
I feel the hunger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So volume taper. So that means we're going to do the same amount of time. Is what you're saying.
A volume taper is the time goes down.
Down. Okay.
The intensity stays up though.
Okay.
An intensity taper.
You're going to do the 3 and 4s.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Do we buy our trading plan? For example, if we want to go back and use this plan again, could I? If not, what's in this plan and other plans I've purchased in Training Peaks? No, I don't want to limit coaching, but okay. So you bought what did you buy? You bought a training program with coaching support for Ironman 70.3 Oregon. Can you use it again? You can't, like, when you buy a training plan and Training Peaks, you can usually like go in and then like say, oh, now I want to apply this plan in 4 months for my next race, right?
Yeah.
You can't do that with this because it's not set up that way. It's set up for this race. But if you were to say, oh, this is a 14-week plan, I'm going to copy it and paste it for my next 14-week build for my race, you can do that. I can't stop you from doing that. I prefer you just have us write you a new plan. That'd be even better. But yeah, if that's what you want to do, I'm sure you can figure that out. Typically when you buy a plan in Training Peaks, it's really generic. It has 0 coaching involvement and you definitely don't get on a call with someone like me. Hey, so that's
it right there. That's
At 6 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
And that actually that makes me reminds me of what I wanted to say at the beginning was you guys have all these questions. I'm sure you guys have been talking to each other. Don't wait. All right. So we don't have to wait for this monthly call to go over this. I want all this stuff answered so you guys are moving forward with knowledge because a smart athlete's a fast athlete, right? And you feel better. So with all these questions, post them up in the Facebook group, and I'll answer them right away if I can, or email me or text me or whatever you need. And we'll either hop on a call to go over them or I'll email all of us or just answer them. I don't want this to go on for a long time like this. This is part of why we have this group. So we can all kind of bounce things off each other and get our questions answered immediately. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep.
How about is your plan to do what was it, Denise, that we were talking about, that the course you can sign up for the free map of the 70.3 Salem and we all do it in our workout? Are you planning
right.
to do that?
Yeah. So that
The
was
full
one of the
gas.
questions. Yes, that was one of the questions here. So what was it? Would it be
Very
better to
last
sign
bullet.
up for the full gas to ride?
Were
the
you planning to
thing?
do that?
All right. So this is where I'm very limited in my, I guess I've never used full gas,
Oh,
but I've used similar services before that have virtual courses. If you'd like to do the course, you can do all your workouts on the course, no problem. Or if you'd like a specific workout for the course, if you guys all say you want to do it collectively, I can adjust workouts for it, or you can just go out and get familiar with it. The real benefit for doing the courses, right, is to have familiarity. Because everything about a route you do a lot, you get better and better at riding the route. I'm not sure if that works virtually or not, but you can try it. I'm sure it could help. If you got, I'll put a question out in the group on Facebook, and if everyone is gonna do it, then I'll write some workouts for there too. That's easy enough for me to do.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. I like the idea. I've never done that. So it's like, well, why not? If the opportunity, it'd be kind of cool.
Absolutely.
At
Yeah,
least to see the course, because we
Yeah.
won't be able to probably get down there to ride the course, so.
yeah. And if you guys all say, oh, we're all gonna go down to the course this week, then you just adjust your training plan for that. No problem.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay,
Easy. You just gotta let me know. I'm happy to do it.
right, okay.
Let us being proactive to you. Oh my God.
Hey.
Jeez.
Take responsibility for your own well-being. Amazing.
Yeah, I need my watch to tell me that.
Yes. Well played. All right. At this point of the training, is it important to the workouts in the order on the schedule, or is it good if the workouts are done within the day? Or okay to have a break in between workouts, or is it dictation the workouts are done one right after the other? All right. So I don't know, Denise, I don't know if you were part of this test. I don't know if you remember. At the end of the day, triathlon has to fit into your life. Your life doesn't have to fit into triathlon. So if you need to move the workouts around, days, order, go for it. If you're like, oh, I like swimming before I bike and it works out for me, do that first. If you're like, I want to do every workout as a brick workout, do that. The order is less important. Even the order in the week is less important, except for when you talk about your long run. When runs are over an hour and a half and duration, we usually need about a day recovery from them. So I would say most important thing is fitting it into your life the way you need it to. I would try and run after I bike typically, unless it's like a real high quality workout on the run that you want to do first, because that's the most important workout of the day. But typically I would run after I bike. It's just easier. Like physiologically, it's easier to bike first and then run.
Right.
We're thinking too is like, if you have 2-hour workouts or an hour and a half workout, you want to hit it in the morning. You don't have a 3-hour break, right? You just have from 5 to 6 or 5:30 to 6:30. You can get one in, and then evening you can get in the second. So wondering if that's good or bad, or
fantastic. It's great. I mean, you got to do what fits in your life. I can tell you, like, typically in my world, I used to, so when I worked in an office, I would bike in the morning, swim at lunchtime, and I'd run at night. When I stopped working in an office, I would swim really early and then bike run middle of the day. It just depends on what works for you. Again, I would default to biking then running. A lot of times I like to swim and run at the same time. I try and always combine 2 workouts personally, because I find it saves time. Because I don't have to shower twice, get changed twice, so on and so forth. But it's whatever works for you.
It's all about the showering.
Yeah, absolutely. So, any other questions on that?
no.
Okay, is the plan written for a certain age, gender? Plan seems to be a bit aggressive for the first few weeks. Yes. So the plan is written for an athlete getting ready for the race. It's probably skewed to about I call it a 45. I mean, age is really hard, right? Because there's some people that are in their 50s and 60s that are way more fit and recover better than people in their 30s. I would say it's written for an athlete with some basic competency in triathlon, and that has some baseline fitness that can recover in a reasonable time. I'd say for our athletes that are a little bit older, it might be a tad aggressive for the recovery periods. And when that's the case, let's ask questions and discuss it. I have no problem. Like a lot of the weeks have, what do they have? They have 3 to 4 runs in them. Like, it kind of varies between 3 and 4. I would I would drop a run a lot of weeks and maybe only run 3 times a week. That might help, right? I'd space those out a little bit more too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, again, like kind of like we were talking about earlier with Carol. I keep on messing up. Is it
Carolyn,
Carolyn?
Carolyn.
Carolyn.
Yeah, sorry. With Carolyn's biking, we try and do it based for the entire group, but your needs might be a little different, right? And if that's the case and you're unsure, just ask and I'll help. Not a problem. Happy to do so.
Get another exercise, compensate for it, like an elliptical versus a run.
Yes, 100%. Going back to my earlier note about swimming, what I say about the heart and lungs? You remember?
It's endurance. You're building your
Yes.
endurance with
They don't
swimming.
know the difference between swimming, biking, running, elliptical, rowing, kayaking. So if you need heart and lungs training, you can do anything you need. And like elliptical, kind of like swimming, lower impact.
Okay.
All right. As we get older, we need more time to recover and we need a little more, like you should be supplementing. It's not in here with some mobility work and some stretching work on a daily basis. Some basic, like mobility 100% for all of you. I would say even some basic strength work, and it could be all body weight work too, would be really helpful as well. So just
Seriously?
stuff to keep your muscular, like skeletal muscular system strong.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Mhm. Yeah.
Most
Yep,
important.
stretching, yoga.
Stretch. Yeah,
Yeah.
stretch a lot. Stretching's really good. I think I got through all of her questions or all of
Yeah.
your group's questions.
Yeah,
You did
I
great.
think you did. Yeah.
Look.
Tess, is there anything else?
No, I think you did great.
All right, cool. I think again to reiterate this, I don't want you guys to go again with like this many questions as much time.
Okay.
Please just post up to the group or email me and I will respond to everyone. Or if it's a personal thing, you just want it for yourself, just let me know. And if you want to talk about it, we can set up a time to talk, or I can just do a video chat for the whole group, or just record a video so you guys know what's going on.
Did you post the swim thing?
I did not yet.
Oh, the video?
I will do it. Yeah.
Okay.
What I'm sending you guys so you know here, I'm gonna do it right now before I forget. I don't know if I sent it before. Andy and I
you
did a
did.
master class.
There was something earlier on a talk.
Yeah.
Is that what you were saying about the pool and the side and the demo?
Yeah, we did a master class, Andy and I,
Yeah.
about swimming.
And then
so,
you had the videos attached to it. Yeah.
yeah, and there's like 2 days or 3 days that we've done master class. It's like two 2-hour sessions, I want to say, or hour sessions. And they're pretty informative. We have them for bike and run too.
And your head's in the water on the side stroke, correct?
Can you clarify what you mean? Sorry.
I mean, I guess I always just get a little off kilter on the side. So I was
Like
looking at that video, like
Oh,
you coming up to the side to take a breath.
yeah. So when you go to breathe, right?
Yeah.
Okay. One goggle. Oh wait, you see that? Yeah. One goggle in, one goggle out. When we breathe in swimming, we kind of look back to about right here to our shoulder, and we kind of just like puff by our mouth a little bit. A lot of people think the water will still be in your mouth and be in the way. I promise there'll be an air pocket there for you. So it's just right here, just a little bit. One goggle's in the water, one goggle's out of the water.
Yeah.
Are you talking, Tess, the single arm drill where you have to breathe on the opposite side and you look very awkward doing
Cool.
it? Cool.
That one's really
And I'm like,
hard.
this one side I'm really good at the breathing, and then the other side I'm like, oh, I just drank water.
Yeah. So single arm drill, breathe opposite sides, a really hard really hard drill.
Okay.
Like really hard.
So it's just a matter of time. Just that's what you're gonna do. You're just gonna suck.
Time doing it and absolutely wear fins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no way you should do that without fins. Right,
Okay.
so-
Well, Andy
Seriously?
Potts makes it look easy in the video. That's him in the video.
Yeah, but
Maybe it's you, Daniel. I don't know. Yeah.
No, Andy's pretty good at that. Week 2 masterclass.
Yeah, he makes it look really, really easy.
Yeah, but he's really good at it. He's kind of a good swimmer. Last time I checked.
Can I give it a couple more inches on my arms? That'd be
Yeah,
sweet.
exactly. Yes, 100. That's the big thing, right? All right, let me see if I can find. I sent you week 2 of the week 2 of the master class. Let me see if I can find week 1 really quick.
Okay.
Here we go.
Cool.
Master class. Man, where is all of these? Copy. Sorry, here. Let me try and find this real quick. It appears some of our videos are missing right now. Down to wait. Oh yeah, here we go. No. All right, I'll find the other one and send it to you.
No
too.
worries. That's
'Cause
cool.
that one has a lot of the what's it called?
Yeah, I think it's in our training peaks when we look back.
Yeah,
it's-
for the swims, they're in there. Yeah.
It should definitely be in there
Yeah,
because
and
I made
that's
a
the
note.
best place to put it, actually.
Yeah, right. Force.
What the heck is
the
a single arm
training
drill?
people do it.
You know, it's like, what am I doing today?
Yeah. This is actually kind of good too. I'm gonna send you one more. Let me see here. All right. So you just you were asking about this test. This is 5 dry land swim exercises. I don't think that one has the chords in it. Here we go. No, this is what I was looking for. Share. Okay, this
Oh,
next one.
we told Carolyn if she's going on vacation for 3 weeks because she has some cords. I told her to take those.
Yeah.
We have the cool like paddle cord thingies.
Yes, I have the same one. So I use cores more for stretching and mobility than I do for strength and like swim stuff. And like swim technique work, but it totally worked really well. Yeah, so yeah, core drills. Yeah, there you go. That should give you some stuff.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, awesome. Anything else, guys? Any questions? Anything else coming up in the training you want to go over before we say goodnight?
Nope, we just got to remember AM and PM. We're bonus.
Yeah, that was my fault. I apologize.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah, we were looking for you at 6 a.m. our time.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry about that. I was up. We could have done it.
That's
No
okay.
problem.
It's good. It's all good.
Yep,
All
we
right.
just thought we did, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm glad.
Congrats on your daughters on the ski. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty good. They're doing pretty well by themselves.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
Nice. What's the next on their agenda?
I think my one daughter's got invited to go to the national team camp at the end of May. So they'll just train until then. And then we'll go to Mammoth, then to Mount Hood, then to New Zealand, then to Europe, and then back here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
Nice.
They what can I say? They're living a tough life.
Yeah, geez. New Zealand of all places. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
exciting.
that's actually that's what I'm figuring out right now. I gotta figure out our summer plans right now. So that's next on the list.
Oh, very
Well,
good.
hopefully you can make it to Oregon, Ironman Oregon.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. Yeah, if I'm not up there, Andy will be up there. It'll be one of us.
Oh,
There.
Okay.
nice.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right, cool,
right, well,
guys.
thanks.
Again,
Okay.
don't let your questions go unanswered. That's why I'm here. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
So just let us know.
Okay.
Right.
Sounds good.
All
Thanks for
right,
your time.
See you
Okay.
later. Have a good night.
Bye.
All right. Good night, guys.